London School of Phonetics. It's influenced in Korea by Young Lee, Seoul National University.
Hello, I'm Young Lee. I'm making this video talk because I can't be with you today. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Professor Wells on his retirement. I was very lucky to learn phonetics from the best phoneticians in the world. Professor Hyun-Bok Lee taught me phonetics at Seoul National University in Korea and sent me to UCL. Professor Wells kindly accepted me as his PhD student and trained me as a professional phonetician. I'd like to thank Professor Wells for his inspiring teaching and continuous encouragement.
Hey, it's gone.
Seoul National University has had a very close relationship with University College London for a long time. So London School of Phonetics has been very influential in Korea. SNU, Seoul National University, is the most prestigious university in Korea. SNU Linguistics Department has been playing a leading role in the field of phonetics and linguistics in Korea. Professor Daniel Jones began to teach phonetics at UCL in 1907. Professor Sun-gi Kim received his MA degree under Professor Daniel Jones's supervision in 1938 and became a professor at SNU in 1950. Professor Hyun-Bok Lee became a student at UCL in 1962. Professor Lee became a professor at SNU in 1970. He founded the Phonetic Society of Korea in 1976. This society was extended as the Korean Society of Speech Sciences and Speech Technology in 2002. I became a PhD student of Professor Wells in 1987 and finished my PhD studies in 1990. I was appointed as a professor at SNU in the year 2000. SNU Phonetics Lab was established by Professor Hyun-Bok Lee in 1976. It has been a center for phonetic research in Korea. This is our recording booth. We are using excellent recording equipment. This is our lab. We've collected several speech corpora of Korean and Alpine languages during the last 5 years. All the recorded DATs and DV tapes are stored in this cabinet. This office is the birthplace of the Phonetic Society of Korea. I'm using this office now. I moved into this office after Professor Hyun-Bok Lee retired in 2002. I'd like to talk about what we've done in our phonetics lab. We've done a lot of phonetic research, mainly on Korean and English phonetics. Recently, I began to investigate phonetic aspects of Alpine languages, which is assumed to be closely related to Korean. Professor Hyun-Bok Lee and I are also pioneers in forensic phonetics in Korea. We've also done applied phonetic research. I've collected 2 important speech corpora of Seoul, Korea for phonetic research, and 1 speech corpus for speech synthesis. We've also documented about 20 Altaic languages. 3 years ago, I developed lip sync software with a company in Korea. I've also done some phonetic research for speech synthesis. My book, Korean Phonetics, has been popular among speech engineers who are developing speech synthesizers and speech recognizers. Professor Hyunbok Lee and I have made great efforts for phonetics teaching. We've taught articulatory phonetics, experimental phonetics, Korean and English phonetics at SNU. We've also organized many workshops and conferences, not only for phoneticians, but also for students, school teachers, speech therapists, and other people who are interested in pronunciation. Professor Hyunbok Lee and I have been teaching British accent and London School phonetics. But during the last 3 decades, we've been struggling with some problems. First of all, the influence of American accent has been increased because of the close relationship between Korea and the United States. Most professors of English have been trained in America, and they want to teach American English. Parents and students also prefer American accent. Most professors of English education are not keen on pronunciation. They don't have enough knowledge about English phonetics to be able to teach English pronunciation decently at universities. Most phoneticians in Korea are more interested in experimental phonetics. It's because they did not learn how to teach and what to teach for pronunciation teaching. They teach only experimental phonetics in their English phonetics course. In the 1990s, we observed a paradigm shift in phonetic research as PC-based speech analysis software became easily available. Various digital recorders like DATs, audio interfaces, CF card recorders, hard disk recorders, and CD-DVD recorders also became available. As experimental phonetic methodology has become mainstream of phonetic research, phoneticians are now required to verify their phonetic observations and insights. Although I put an emphasis on experimental phonetics, we should not overlook the importance of phonetic description. The domain of experimental phonetics might be limited unless new phonetic observations and insights are provided. I think we should become leading providers of such phonetic observations and insights. English and Korean are intensively investigated languages, but many phonetic aspects of these languages still remain to be described. Recently, Chinese became the second foreign language in Korea. Chinese is not a well-described language at all. Some of my best students are ambitiously majoring in Chinese phonetics. Many Korean linguists are interested in Altaic languages. More than half of the Altaic languages are about to become extinct, and most of them don't have their own writing systems. It's almost impossible for linguists to carry out their research on Altaic languages without reliable phonetic description. There's an exploding demand for speech pathology in Korea. Phonetics is very important and useful in speech pathology. Phoneticians can contribute to speech pathology in 2 ways. First, we can teach speech therapists how to analyze disordered speech. Second, we must describe disordered speech in detail. It will help them to check the articulatory problems of their patients. All the new phonetic observations and insights must be verified by phonetic experiments. I believe that ear training and transcription training of London School Phonetics stimulate phonetic inspiration and broaden the scope of experimental phonetic research. In many cases, acoustic experiments are not enough to verify phonetic observations or hypotheses. We often need to prove our phonetic hypotheses by perception experiments or by improving the naturalness of a speech synthesizer. These days, most people carry around their mobile phones most of the time wherever they go. They can easily make a recording of their conversation with the phone and sew with the recorded materials. I expect that the number of cases which require phonetic analysis will increase rapidly in the near future. Since the IT bubble decay in 2000, many speech technology companies were hard hit or even went bankrupt. But Korean government and companies kept on investing in information technology. As a result, Korea has become a leading country in information technology. We are well aware of the importance of speech technology in the future society. My department recruited a speech engineer as a faculty member in 2004 to promote research and teaching in speech technology. As excellent speech analysis programs like PROD, Speech Filing System, and WaveSurfer have become available for free, and more people can have an access to broadband internet, a paradigm shift in phonetics teaching is about to occur. Speech analysis software has enabled us to see speech sounds on a monitor. Just as medical doctors examine MRIs and X-rays for accurate diagnosis, phoneticians can use spectrograms and pitch curves to show students their pronunciation errors. As you know, London School Phonetics can't be self-taught. Students have to go to UCL to receive ear training, transcription training, and pronunciation training intensively. But thanks to the broadband internet, we can run online phonetics courses and web seminars. We can easily overcome time and space barriers. Wireless broadband internet service began last month in Korea for the first time in the world. People can learn English pronunciation directly from Professor Wells at any time and anywhere in the world in the near future. Recently, I've made an online English pronunciation course. It will be open to SNU students next semester. I've divided the whole course into 42 short lectures. Students can easily choose any of these lectures.
이번 시간에는 영어의 R 발음에 대해서 공부하겠습니다. 영어의 R은 혀를 입천장 쪽으로, 윗잇몸 쪽으로 올려서 발음하는 소리입니다. 때 Z 발음은 아까 좀 했었죠? zeal 할 때처럼 그 혀를 윗잇몸에 완전히 대면합니다. 그 입천장에 대지 않고 접근만 하고 발음을 해요. 그래서 sees, 예, sees, 예, 이렇게 발음이 돼요. pet, pat, pet, pat. I'm planning to go to London in mid-September. I hope to see you there. Bye.